Welcome back to 1010's podcast, and we are back from Gridlife. Robbie, you can wipe that depressed look off of your face.
I'm still tired.
I know, right? I still
really
feel
still
so tired.
I feel like I didn't catch up from being home. I feel like I have a lot of stuff to do. But
Word.
I don't know.
Like-
Maybe I wish I was back in Michigan.
I think so.
Racing.
All of your posts on Instagram have been like, I wish we were back here.
It's
Like
been almost
when?
2 weeks.
Yeah, remember what Throwback Thursday. Almost every single post you've made on Instagram has been about.
It's been Throwback Thursday for the last 2 weeks.
Right, exactly.
I don't care.
That's basically what I'm saying.
And it's going to be that way for the next 2 weeks. I don't care. Just
You
keep
have-
posting all the pictures we have.
You have like
could-
400 pictures to post.
Yeah,
Exactly,
You
it's
could
your
post 10
fault.
pictures a day and you wouldn't get through it for a month.
I was up to 5 a day for a while.
I kept getting notifications on my phone. 1010's podcast shared a picture.
Yep, about every few hours. You got to keep posting.
That's all right. You picked up a lot of followers, though,
I have.
right around Gridlife time.
Yep.
People apparently do search hashtags. It's not just companies and people trying to do self-promotion.
I think when
Didn't
there's
know
an
that.
event like that, people will search hashtags. Mostly because they're hoping to see pictures of their own car.
Yeah, it's still self-promotion, I suppose.
But for that specific thing, I think people search hashtags, yes. I go through and look at hashtag Dodge Omni every once in a while. Just see what everyone else is
I
doing.
do the hashtag 1010s podcast once in a while.
Just to see if somebody else is tagging it.
It happens
Did
once
you
in a while.
find anybody else?
Yeah, there's a few.
Really?
Yeah, some of the more obvious listeners, people
Our
that have
diehard
commented
fans.
before.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Fair enough. Robbie got recognized.
Robbie was the only one who got
You
recognized.
both got recognized too,
Yeah, but they didn't come and say hey to us. They've went and said hey to you.
and I'm totally blanking on their names too. I was walking through the concert area, just kind of minding my own business, and all of a sudden these guys walk up to me. Hey, you're Rob. I was like, yeah. And they introduced themselves.
Well,
and
don't come in with that attitude. No wonder they didn't come hang out or say anything to the rest of us.
like I said before,
They were
the-
Yeah,
warned.
what do you fucking want?
They were warned. Robbie's the awkward one.
That's
it's
true.
I didn't know what to say. I was like, hey, thanks.
Yeah,
And then I literally said, the other guy's right over there.
and then you ran away.
I was like, I just want to take in the whole event. I don't
even know. Were
I
you
don't-
going to the trash can or to the bathroom or something? Because we were getting ready to take pictures, and
I don't have a camera, so like I'm just watching you
walked
take
off,
pictures.
yeah.
So
Yeah, Robbie and I were just trying not to be in the way all weekend.
I was
He was-
just curious what the concert was going on. There's people in there already.
Oh, that's right.
So I was just walking around.
This was Saturday night, wasn't it?
Yes.
If you ran into Robbie on Saturday night, he wasn't being rude. He really is just that bad at small talk.
Oh, yeah.
You should have gone with the weather, Robbie. Even with all the drift cars and all that, you should have gone straight to weather.
It's kind of hot.
It's a bit hazy out here.
Sunny,
today.
huh? Wow, it's warm, and then just ran away.
Look how sunburned my arms are.
What was that weather
Perfect.
warning you got?
I got a smog warning.
Like man-made.
Yeah, man-made material in the air.
Yeah, and I thought it was really ironic.
Did you really get that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
should have screenshotted it.
You should
It was
have.
gibberish though. It was like,
Yeah. It
are
didn't
we
make any
making
sense.
smog? Is there smog already? Like what? It was really confusing.
You don't see that in the Midwest.
But he got
I've
a
never
weather
seen a
warning for it.
Never seen a smog
Localized over us.
where we were.
Gingerman Raceway?
Yeah, Gingerman Raceway smog warning. Wasn't that specific, but yes,
Huh.
Which is kind of ironic.
it
and
was funny. Yeah.
It has to be from all the tire smoke, I would imagine. Wouldn't you think?
So, well, I don't know
It's
what
all.
else
It's
would be.
the 4,000 cars that came in with no cats on them.
Yeah,
that-
too.
The 4,000 vape pens and
There was a lot
forgot
of
about the vape pens.
I don't think we realized how just hazy the whole weekend was. You know, drifting,
it's still a little hazy.
no cats, the
honestly.
whole thing.
I didn't even drink, and I'm still a little hazy.
You're feeling a little weird. You guys need to get some sleep.
Too busy.
I don't know what to
Got a
tell
lot
you.
of stuff to do.
It's true.
So I was listening back to Slip Angle because they put out their
2 years.
their commentating.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Because where we were, you could like never hear any of the commentating.
It was so much crazier this year.
Oh, so
It was
crazy.
so busy you couldn't hear shit.
But Jabay made a comment on the commentating thing about this was Saturday's commentating that the day before they had to go down there and yell at kids for trying to slap the end plates on spoilers as cars went by on the
How
front straight.
Dumb are you?
You can like break your hand.
Just let them break their hand. They deserve it.
That I think would do more than break your hand.
Whatever.
If you get it just a little bit in front, like that will take your hand
Yeah. Let it happen.
so bad.
Darwinism at its finest.
What the hell?
Well, the whole weekend they kept telling them to get off the guardrail.
All weekend.
Off the guardrail. Don't stand in the middle of turn 2 and 3.
Yep. Then they ruined it for everybody. Now it sounds like media is kind of not going to happen next year.
They said they would take care of trusted media. So
That's good.
hopefully we fall into that category.
I would like to think so.
There was some anger at first, which was fair.
Yes.
And I won't say who it is, but if you look, you can see who it is. Robbie, you posted today, which is the 22nd on Instagram.
Yes.
It was Tim's picture. It's Forsberg and Turk and
Von Gittin.
Von Gittin. And if you look in the background, there's somebody standing in turn one. Look and see who it is.
Just leave it there.
He's famous.
Oh, I know that guy.
Yep. And
It is like the
phone
most.
number.
It is like the most dangerous place to be. I mean,
you just don't
certain
know.
certain
It's
death.
so fast. It's like 140 miles
Yeah.
an hour. If you're really booking it, it's just not a good place to be. So anyway, it was an issue.
Yeah.
So if anybody's listening and they are a photographer, stay behind barriers and don't go places that they
Don't
tell
stand
you
next
to
to
go.
the like literally standing next to the track on a turn.
And if there's a photographer behind you, it probably means you're where you're not supposed to be. If there's somebody in a media vest and they're behind you, you are in the wrong place.
That or if the race director has come out multiple times and said,
I told you don't
"Get
stand there."
off the track."
Don't. Yeah,
You should probably listen.
that's a good rule for any spectator as well as media people. If you don't feel like you're supposed to be somewhere, don't be there. Be smart. I think our group's different. I think it makes a difference when you actually race cars. Because I don't
You
know.
would think that most of those photographers would be enough car guy people to understand and know better.
I just maybe, but I wonder if there's a disconnect between people who have been in a race car or raced a car and know that there's a potential that you could go off in a really weird way versus like somebody that shoots models.
Well, I even saw like paddock etiquette that I thought was atrocious. Like, because I grew up at racetracks, so I know race cars have right of way. It does not matter any of the situation. If you're in the paddock and there is a car moving, it gets right of way. This is not the city streets. Those cars have a tough time even, managing those speeds. So you got to stay out of their way. And a lot
true.
of people don't understand that.
No, it's true. But that was, like we said, way busier than it was last year.
Oh, it was crazy.
So crazy
it was
busy.
so much fun, but I don't think that they could. You couldn't add another 1,000 people to that. It'd
No.
be too much.
And I'd be surprised.
Probably
I'd be surprised if they didn't kind of try to segregate the paddock moving forward.
Yeah, because like if
There's
you were
too many
if you were
assholes
like
just walking
Forsberg or
around.
Turk, like how do you get out of there? Like
can't
how do you get your car out? You know what I mean? There's just so many people.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't want that to shed a bad light on anything that happened, but
Still the greatest weekend.
yeah, for
ever.
sure.
So much fun.
But I think it's a good reminder for any spectator, no matter where you go, to respect the cars. Just straight up, just respect the cars.
Car shows, racetracks.
Yeah.
Walking down the street.
Yep.
Whatever it is.
Yep, just respect the cars. So, but it was really good.
Yep, it was a great
We had a
weekend.
good time. Want to thank Tim Taylor, and Thomas Reed for helping us shoot.
Adam Jabay for letting me in early, letting you guys in late.
2 a.m.
Extra late.
Yep.
And just overall being the greatest dude ever.
Yeah, that's true. Putting on a pretty rad track day, basically.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Several track days. I was surprised there was very little incident with the cars themselves. There was like one car let go of oil,
Yeah.
which caused
Yep.
a real problem. But
Yeah. But even that didn't take that long to fix.
no, considering he completely, between I think it's 3 and 4, just plastered
Nah,
that hole.
I looked at a track map today. That so there's corner 1,
Yep.
and then that U, they consider that all
that's
just
all? Okay.
turn. And so then you
2
go
to
down
3.
that next straightaway, and then that's 3. So he was from 2 to 3. He just
Plastered
oiled.
that whole thing.
Just 6 quarts all the
All the
way
way
down.
down.
Yep.
Bad day.
Yeah, it took a while to clean up. That's the longest
Yeah.
cleanup we've seen at Gingerman.
I guess,
It
yeah.
didn't throw it off like an hour and a half, like the whole schedule.
Yeah. Well, the schedule was getting a little behind anyway, but
Yeah.
not that that was a bad thing necessarily, because then they got to do like a late night drift thing, which was cool.
Which is good for photography.
It was good
The
for
lighting was
photography.
great.
The lighting was great.
It was on
very
fleek.
good.
No, it was wet.
It was wet.
Have you noticed that I've been using
I know.
only emojis in my
Comments?
Instagram posts lately and comments? It's
I've seen a lot of fire from you lately.
a lot of fire, because now I can't. I'm too old to like swipe through all the emojis and know where they are. So once I get the ones in the recent category, like this is it. This is all I got to work with.
When I posted that picture that Tim took on my Instagram of the R34 with the fire coming out of the tailpipe, like I was trying to find the little camera instead of writing photo
I
cred.
saw that. Yeah,
Took me like 5 minutes to find that emoji. I don't. There's
Too
too
old-
many.
Too old for this
There's
shit.
too
I'll
many.
be very honest with you. I don't know how to use the emojis.
We were too old to be running like
Oh,
any
we're
social
so
media.
bad.
I'm in charge of your Instagram, and I don't know how to
Everybody
use the emojis.
uses a little photo thing. Maybe we'll have a little tutorial.
Yeah,
afterwards.
someone show me how to use it because I don't know how.
We're so bad.
I gotta look now. It's
Well,
on your keyboard, isn't it? Hold on.
No.
Well, I don't know because
I got the gifs on my messenger on Facebook, and that's the best I got.
abuse the gifs.
Well, yeah, I don't know how to.
Robbie loves
Robbie,
gifs.
it's on your keyboard. You got to get it on
It's a
your
little
keyboard.
smiley on the
You
right
hit-
next to the
yeah.
space bar on the iPhone.
Okay, hold on.
Anyway,
Look, the ones in my favorite category are 100, fire, and then wet, which
Yeah.
I just used.
I know you did.
I tried finding the 100 and got tired of it.
It's in a really weird spot.
Here, hold
I
on.
got
I'm
tired
hooked
of
up to your
looking for
Wi-Fi. No wonder it's not working.
And then I have
yeah, you don't want that.
and then I have a violin for some reason and a basketball.
All right, so I got symbol. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
click-
wait.
Nope.
Is there like a smiley face in there somewhere?
Click
No.
slightly to the right of that.
You don't have a
to
smiley
the right.
face next to the space bar
No,
or
see,
something?
I got the airplane thing for sending it privately. And if
No,
I
it should be on the keyboard. Should be a little smiley face on the keyboard.
I got a microphone.
No, that's for talk to text.
You got other problems going on there. No
I
wonder.
don't-
you-
We'll
it's-
sort this out
You know what?
later.
You know what it is? It's a Galaxy S5.
S5.
It's out of date.
Isn't that like a year and a half old?
No, it's like 3 years
It's
old.
time for you to get a new phone.
I can't even do emojis because my phone's too old.
Yeah, this
That's
is
probably true.
This is an S7 and it's out of date, so he's 3 generations back.
Yeah, they just did the S8.
Get on your game, Robbie.
Who has money for an $800 phone?
Yeah,
Nobody.
No shit.
I will.
We are, you know what? We are fucking old because we're talking about how expensive phones are now,
Yes.
and we can't find emojis.
My phone
It's
gets
ancient.
My phone gets
30, man.
texts.
I don't know what to tell you.
My phone decides when it gets texts. If you've texted me
I know,
in the
it's
last
almost
6 months and I didn't respond, it's because I didn't get it. I got a notification, but I didn't.
That's
get
my favorite part. Is Robbie will just randomly text me. Did you text me? No, I didn't.
Okay.
All right, just checking.
Well, it was like
Checking in.
it was 3 or 4 people, and now it's turned into about everybody. So if I text you and then I get a green light on my phone, I'll text you back immediately saying, "Hey, resend that.
Did you text me,
My phone sucks."
bro?
Nice.
It's ever since the software update.
So I didn't think that turning 30 would affect me that much, but
Your knees hurt and your hip
no,
hurt?
well, that
Oh,
always
okay.
happened. But like, I've caught myself thinking, like, God, I'm 30 years old. What have I done with my life? Like, I should be so much
Don't
farther
do that,
along.
man.
And then I'm like, wait a second, I'm fine. Just relax.
Don't do that. It's a slippery slope, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I did when we were having a debate about something. It was related to that media thing, but I did go on these damn kids, and I was like, I am 27. Like, am I allowed to use?
Most of those people are probably older than you.
Right, exactly. I was like, I'll delete that part. I'll take that up. Damn kids.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my damn lawn.
Anyway,
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Gridlife.
Gridlife. We're kind of going way out of order, but that's
we're
fine.
way out of order.
That's okay.
'cause all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
My opener can be like a midway.
We can open you up midway.
You can open up midway,
It's no-
absolutely.
What?
What?
That's weird.
No, you said
It
it.
got super weird.
Whatever. It's only weird if you make it weird.
Oh, I'll make it weird, Robbie.
Okay.
Did you
we have-
did you want to share something about your Big Rig Butters experience? Adam, didn't you have something with the truck or
So I guess we can kind of call this an almost new car review. So I got to drive my dad's. I think it's like a 2014 ish.
That's 3 years old.
I think it might be newer than that, isn't it? Didn't
I
you
don't
just
know.
get it?
He didn't buy it new though. It's
Oh.
used. It was slightly
Oh,
used.
okay.
Very low mileage, but used.
Almost new car review. Close enough.
Yeah. So
Whatever.
my biggest thing about it, and haven't driven very many new cars. I know you guys have been in a few other makes and models that are newer cars that would have this feature. So maybe they're all shitty. The automatic temperature control.
Yeah, it's all over the fucking
I've
place.
never ever used it.
And
I
it's
shut it
different
off.
from car to car.
Why is it so bad?
It's
How hard can that be?
I don't know.
I'll have it set at 75 and I'll be freezing my ass off.
Okay, so in the Trailblazer, in the summertime, you set it at low 60s, which is colder than you would want to be. That's where you want to be. Like,
Okay.
I actively want to be in air conditioning and cool. Low 60s. If you set your house at low 60s, you would think that you were like on the North Pole.
And
You would-
rich,
yeah,
frankly.
Yeah, exactly. But in here, it's comfortably cool. Okay.
Okay.
In the wintertime, you set it to a normal temperature like 72, and it's fine.
Okay. So my Audi had automatic temperature control, and
Yep.
I never touched it.
You just set it to low.
I
or
set it
high.
at 70 and never touched it.
Oh, it actually worked. is what
Yeah,
you're
it
saying.
worked great from 2001.
I think my 98.
Of all the things that my
Audi.
Audi did not do well,
It can
that was
control
not one of
temperature.
them. Controlling temperature, it was on on point.
I think my 98 Audi was the same. It's probably the same
But
module.
my dad's 2000 whatever,
Can't do it.
can't. I had it set at 75 on the way home and was still cold. I think Thomas had it set at 78 because it
That's
has
too
dual
hot.
temperature.
But then you go to 80,
And then you're burning up.
and no, but then it goes to full like
Heat.
we're having a fucking meltdown. We need to pump as much heat in as possible.
And if you have it set at 70, which is where I think it should be, there's so much air coming. It's like blowing through. I feel like I'm in a convertible. There's so much wind.
That's what the Maxima does.
But it's
if I hit
so cold.
If I hit the auto temperature thing,
Yeah.
it automatically turns the vents all the way open, like the fans as high as they can go, and tries to get to that temperature as fast as possible.
Which that I understand, but hour 5, it should have been.
Yeah, it annoys me.
It should have been normalized by now, and it's still trying to freeze me out of here, and I'm still slowly ticking it upward in temperature.
I just do it manually the old school way. I completely bypass it.
Yeah.
Another
That's
interesting
what I
thing
ended up giving up on.
I've noticed in the Trailblazer is it won't give me full fan speed. Like, so it's 90 degrees today. I get in there. It's been sitting outside all day. I haven't been in it. Start it. Set it to auto to 70 or to 63. I don't get all the fan. Robbie ran into his microphone. I don't get all the fan. I just get like 80% of it.
Weird.
I don't know.
All the time. That's in auto mode. That's it. You get 80%.
In my S10, which does not have auto because it's old school, if there's a max AC and a regular AC, if you set it to max AC and then turn the fan all the way up, it will blow harder. But if you had it set at 1 for the fan speed,
Yeah.
that is slower than when it's set to normal AC.
Who's designing air conditioners for cars and fans and stuff?
I have no idea.
Morons.
Apparently.
Total,
That have
except
never-
for Audi.
That have
Audi
never
had-
been you're right.
Early 2000s, Audi had it figured
Engineers
out.
at Audi had a house apparently with a thermostat and understood that,
Let's use this technology.
right. Are we sure that this is 75 degrees in here? It is not actually. It's 68. Let's adjust it.
Like, are they just running off the temperature probe that's up on the dash in the sun, or what?
I think that's probably the problem with the GM stuff is the probe is God knows where. Audi, there's probably like 6 probes in there.
Yeah, and there's like one like right in my headrest or in the B
Right.
pillar right next to me where it should be.
Yeah.
I don't get it, man. It shouldn't be that hard. But my dad never resets any of the like trip meters or anything like that on that truck.
Oh,
So
I'm OCD like that. I have to.
no, he doesn't reset any of that stuff. And I managed to drop 2 miles per gallon off his average mile per gallon in that trip. So that was
Nice.
good. That was real
Good
good.
work out of you.
What do you think you got MPG with that giant trailer?
Well, so I was doing somewhere between 200 and 250 miles on a tank, and each time I filled it up was about 35 gallons. So
that's pretty poor.
it was not good.
That's bad.
It was not
not
good.
strong.
And that is the 6-liter
Yes.
gasoline.
Yes.
Yep.
And most of the time I was not doing the speed limit.
Fair.
I was doing less than.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes. The way home, Thomas and I on the way home, we were going into a headwind. So I would set it at 70 and then just hit the coast 1 mile an hour at a time until it would finally drop into overdrive, which was usually about 66, 65.
Fair enough.
Because I'm pushing into that wind, and I was, when it was not in overdrive, I was like 4,200 RPM. Like we're
Yeah.
not doing this. We're not doing
Yeah, I know.
this. That's not gonna.
Dad's truck does that same thing. It's annoying.
That's like what, 3 miles to the gallon at that point.
Right,
I'm not
exactly.
doing that.
How long do we drive in the Maxima with the gas light on?
A really long time because it came on and it said like
it comes on at like 60,
right, and it's like you have 62 miles left.
and then
we looked up.
with the I-80, that huge truck stop
The
was
world's largest truck stop.
it was 98 miles away when that.
No,
No,
it was 42 miles away. So it's like, oh, we have a 20-mile buffer.
Yes,
That's fair.
Right, that's right.
That seems reasonable.
perfectly reasonable.
It'll probably go to 0 before we get there. You know what I mean? Like it'll drop off and
They have
say
a reserve
low.
tank. It'll be all right.
Right. We drove on that reserve tank for like 10 miles though.
Oh, that's nothing.
It
dude.
it dropped down to 0 probably at mile 30, I bet, where it stopped telling me numbers.
I could do 60 miles in my Audi after the distance to empty said 0. You could do at least 60 miles.
We didn't know that though.
I thought we were fine. So we go there and I'm like, we could make it, no problem. And then we fill up and it's 17.92 gallons. And then they all think, oh, it's an 18-gallon tank. There's no, like whatever.
Yeah.
It's 20 gallons. See, we had two.
See,
We had
you
two,
guys are
two
overworried.
full gallons.
Nissan is very conservative.
Well, they're probably trying to keep enough fuel to keep the fuel pump submerged in the tank when it's on E to try and lengthen
burn up. Yeah.
longevity
Yeah.
of it.
Fair point.
Probably a good idea.
I think it was
Probably
my great uncle once told me that every time he gets a new vehicle, he throws a 5-gallon can of gas in the back and drives it until it's empty, so he knows how far it can actually go.
It was the absolute furthest I've ever driven. It was like 440 miles.
And
Yeah,
you could have done
460 miles.
you could have done another 20, 30 miles, no problem.
Yep. And I know this because I reset all my trips. Do you guys reset your trips?
Nah.
Nah.
You don't? You just let it run?
Yeah.
Well, I got distance to empty and all that fun crap I could see.
Yeah,
I don't have any of those things.
You don't worry about like
I don't reset like my
Worry about
tripometer each time I
what?
fill up.
What am I worried about, Robbie?
Yeah. What,
this.
what am I worried
It
about?
tells me how far I've got to empty. It tells me what my fuel economy is.
I don't worry about that.
I can see what my odometer is. What am I worried about that? Why do I need to reset my trip?
Trip A
No.
is always the current tank.
And trip B
And trip
is
B is
since
my-
you changed the oil.
Yes.
Robbie's so predictable.
Who
cares?
told you this, Robbie?
I taught myself this.
That's what he does.
I don't write down my oil
That's some
changes.
OCD shit there. Mine tells me when I need an oil change.
I don't trust that shit. That goes off of it has nothing to do with your actual mileage or your oil in it. Like you could have the shittiest oil in there, it's still going to tell you it's the number of miles you set it to.
Nah, it's some algorithm that GM.
No, it's not.
Not
No,
on the
it's not.
not on the GM cars.
Nissan, you can change it to whatever the hell you want.
Don't bring your Nissan bullshit into my GMLS world.
I like how you guys are pointing fingers at each other.
Everyone needs to
This
see
is
this.
intense now.
The
I'm just
GM
kinda like back and forth. Like, what's he going to say? What's
GM's
he
is an
gonna say?
algorithm based on your stop and go, and based on the mileage that you've done and at what speeds. Yours might be based off some bullshit
It
that
is.
you can
You can-
change.
you can change
You
it.
can't change it on the GM ones.
I'm very conservative with my oil changes.
Well, I'm aware of that.
I go to about half of what the oil bottle says.
You go to 2,500 miles.
No. Oh, well, have you seen an oil bottle lately? Nothing's less than 5,000. Like most
Well, yeah,
of
if
them
you're
are
using a full
7,500.
synthetic, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, no, but nobody.
I always change it before.
Unless you
5,000.
send it to Blackstone and they tell you you can go longer than that. I don't think anybody really goes longer than 5,000.
No.
And no offense to Blackstone, even if they said I could go 10,000 miles on an oil change, I wouldn't.
No, absolutely not. That's a cheap way to keep your engine going
Yeah, there's no reason not to change your oil at 5,000 miles.
or less.
Okay.
5,000 miles.
I think 5,000 miles.
I'm with Michael on this. None
It's
of this
the-
oil less stuff.
Well, you never change your oil because you just keep putting fresh in every.
That's not
That's
true.
changing his oil. He's got
yeah.
new oil in there.
I don't know
That's
what you're
fair.
getting at, Robbie.
Just remember to change your filter.
I do that occasionally.
You know
Not
what?
very
You know what
often,
I
but
saw?
occasionally.
You know what I saw on Kickstarter? Some bullshit about I can't even remember how it works. Maybe I could find it, but it's like this additional filter that you add that actively filters out the shit in your oil, and so you only have to change your oil like every 15,000 miles, and your filter every 20,000.
No,
miles.
I'm good.
Not
yeah,
buying that.
Yeah, dude, people fully funded, like
Nope.
1,000%.
Nope.
They said somewhere in there they said the word NASA engineer,
Ah, damn it.
Oh, man.
NASA scientist.
Was
boom,
James
people bought it.
involved in this?
No, absolutely not.
I've seen what happens when you go 40,000 miles on a single oil change. Locks your fucking engine up. It's
There's that video.
It's not oil anymore. It's tar.
There's that video floating around like 50-some thousand miles on an Audi, and the guy's like scooping it out with his hand out of the valve cover area.
I think that idiot went even farther than that. It was
think-
like a crazy number of miles. It was so stupid. Like, why would you
I just,
ever
like-
do that?
Every time I see that, the thing that I think when I see it is I'm impressed that it made it that far without running dry. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe that's just because I own old shit. And so it leaks all the time, but like I'm just impressed that it managed to go that far without running out of oil.
But the interesting thing about it is he put so many miles on it. Presumably, it was like somewhat new of a vehicle.
yeah, it probably was a new car that, like, probably someone traded in on lease and never changed the oil in it or something like that. Some
That's-
traveling salesman or something.
That's so stupid.
That was the story of the guy that put 40,000 on his new truck. He was too busy for an oil change until his engine locked up.
Right. Yeah, it's too busy till it costs you 10 grand.
Warranty. It's fine.
Yeah. Covered.
He got fired.
No oil changes are
I
covered.
bet the warranty does not cover that.
What kind of weirdo, but like, was he moving stuff?
I think he was a traveling salesman.
What was he selling, though?
I honestly
Oh,
didn't know
okay.
that much. I was going to college at the time, and they brought us to that shop for whatever reason, and they were like, "Hey, check this out while you're here."
Oh, weird.
And it literally just gotten there that day.
Jeez. So anyway, should we do?
Do you want to do your opener?
Sure.
Open it up midway.
Adam's mid opener. No, midway. What was it? He's opening it. He's opening up midway.
If you know what I mean.
If you know what I mean. Presented by Eyes Up Auto Art.
All right, so I got a picture inbound to both of you because this needs the picture. It's on the messenger. Sending now. Boom. Should be there.
It needs the picture. On
Adam,
on our
I know.
radio
So if
Adam
you're
sent the
listening to
photo.
this, you can maybe Google this, or you can just go to the YouTube and find it
YouTube,
there.
it's
But
gonna appear
I
right
feel
now.
like this is where we have reached peak rat rod, and people need to back away slowly from their Project Rat Rods and rethink their life's decisions.
So he's got a.
So the picture I sent them, it's an old manure spreader, one of those 3-wheeled manure spreader things
okay.
that he somehow managed to slam to the ground and then put a 40s, I believe, International cab on it and covered up the motor with it. I saw this thing at a car show that I went with my parents to this weekend, and it is absolutely, positively, 100% the stupidest thing I have ever seen in my life. And he drives that on the interstate. He drove that thing from Sioux City to Good Guys here in Des Moines last year.
For the record, that's not a shit spreader. That's Tarrigator.
Well, okay, whatever. One of those 3-wheeled Tarrigators.
Yeah, it's a Tarrigator. It's like those really remember when we did that meme last year about
Yeah.
you always think you can drive under the 4-wheel style?
Yeah.
This is a 3-wheel style.
With those giant balloon tires that are 6 foot wide and 10 foot tall.
that are as wide as 2 lanes of traffic.
Pretty damn close.
The other thing is, it looks like the stacks that he's built here are like 15 feet tall.
They are.
They are
15 feet tall.
legitimately as tall as the law will allow.
So your
So he has to worry about
pathway,
going.
right, is
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
clear
And
necessarily.
he drives that thing. And I'm certain it's not registered or insured because it's probably a tractor.
I commend him.
I've felt this way about rat rods for a while, that people need to chill. Building rat rods for the sake of rat rods, I'm tired of it. Like welding chains together and welding brass knuckles together to make shifters and stuff. Stop it.
I'll agree with you on that.
Stop it.
Where people have gone
Too far.
where they've made shit that was ridiculous for the sake of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like where they, I don't know, they're
If you
forcing
take
it.
a vehicle,
not in this case though.
if you take a vehicle and you like an older truck and you just get it back on the road and put like a small block in it, but it's in fairly decent shape, so you don't really do anything to it, it just kind of has that patina look on it, that I'm fine with.
That's not a rat rod.
That's not a rat rod. That is stupidity. That little tractor thing there.
Well, I will
It's
agree with you that
absolute stupidity.
he's gone further than what a rat rod normally would. I commend him.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yep. He did not build this for you, Adam.
We were standing, my dad and I were standing there looking at it when he pulled into the car show, and he got out and he was talking to the people, and like the thing leaves these huge clouds of smoke.
Well, yeah, it's a huge diesel.
Right? And he was talking to some guy and he said, "Oh yeah, we ran the fuel screw all the way in so that it runs real rich, but that way it makes bigger smoke clouds." Like, "Oh, you are the king of
always rolling
douchebags,
coal.
aren't you?"
See, obviously, I don't like the 15-foot tall stacks. However, I would be impressed to see this driving down the interstate.
If I have one thing that I can commend him on, it's the fact that it has an incredibly impressive turning radius. Surprisingly.
You're kidding me.
No, because it articulates like just in front of the cab.
Yep. Yeah, he could turn pretty well.
And
then.
I think it's done hydraulically.
Yes, it is.
And so it actually had a pretty decent turning radius. He was turning around inside of a city street.
I suppose he probably didn't change it from what it was. Because
I think he,
Tarrigator can make that change.
I think he changed like
the angle of the rake, and that's about it.
so that it was much lower. But other than that, I think it's basically just
There's a lot of things I would do
Tarrigator
differently,
frame.
but
Yeah, like not even do
no,
it.
no, I like it. I like the fact that
I think it's stupid.
I like the
Thank
fact that he's
you.
got a Tarrigator that he's driving.
I think it's stupid because no normal human. Here's the deciding factor for me is that no one would drive around in a Tarrigator. So why, if you lowered one and put a truck cab on it, would you then drive around in it?
It didn't become cool.
You didn't.
So
it's still
dumb.
stupid. Like you wouldn't.
Do you think it has a towing capacity?
He did it. He did it just to like annoy.
It's peak
like,
rat rod. It is peak.
It's
rat
peak
rod.
rat rod, and it's too much. People
Nah.
need to calm the fuck down about these
No.
rat rod things.
You just don't understand rat
Step
rod.
slowly away.
How dare you, Mister racer.
Yeah.
Say that we don't understand rat rod.
You don't understand rat rods. You don't. I don't have anything to back that up.
I don't. You're right, Robbie. I don't. But
I like the fact
that's
that
neither here nor there.
It's so weird.
No, it's so bad. I don't like it.
It serves no purpose, and it doesn't do anything well. So therefore, I'm out.
Can you believe he drives that down the interstate?
And it's not
like long
it's not,
distances.
It's
no
not
less.
good looking. It's not. It really serves no purpose.
Well, the fact that he can drive this.
There was a video I saw of this being driven through city traffic in South Sioux City, Nebraska. South Sioux City, Nebraska. He's driving down Main Street.
That's awesome. I love it.
Nah,
I love it because
I'm
it
with
pisses you off so much.
I'm with that. I'm not as mad about it as he is, but yeah, I feel like
Now, if he got rid of those stupid stacks, and I don't know, I like it.
I don't get it. You guys would have thought that car show that I went to was something else. They had a burnout contest and
Now that's
the whole
a car
9
show.
yards.
Yeah.
It was small America car show through and through. They had live music. There's country music being played. There was old
Nice.
school rock and roll being played.
Nice.
There was a kid zone with a dunk tank, and it was classic Americana through and through.
can't do that anymore.
I loved every second.
Can't
of it.
do burnout boxes anymore.
No.
You can't do dunk tanks anymore.
You
You can
can
dunk
when you
tanks.
live in a town of 250 people.
Very true. Yes, you can, but you can't normally because people try to touch spoilers at drift events,
Yep.
and then they sue you.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was
But you-
awesome. I loved every minute of
You used
it.
to be able to do burnouts at Good Guys.
Good guys. Yeah, they used to
They had a
have that.
burnout area.
Power Tour still does.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, but it's like heavily barricaded.
Well, of course.
Oh, well, okay.
It's only at one stop.
One stop on the whole tour?
Yeah, because they have to build an area where they can do it.
Oh, well.
You got to protect
That kind of
everybody
takes some
from
of the fun out.
themselves.
I understand it, but I'm just saying, like, it's not, the spirit's not there.
No, this was just like you could be 10. We didn't stay long enough because it kept raining and my kid was clearly getting tired of the day because he just kind of started walking here recently and he probably put on more mileage in that day than he had in the previous week walking around. So he was clearly tired and needed to go home. So we didn't
That's
stay
fair.
long enough for the burnout contest, but I imagine that you could have been 10 or less feet away from the cars doing burnouts.
Perfect.
They probably had like this plywood wall that they set up to catch the rubber coming off the tires. You just back up to that and spray some water under your tires and you just have at it. Put a cinder block under the front tires and just go for it until the tire blows up. Then they pull the next guy in.
Australia style.
America.
Or, yeah, America.
Small town America.
Small town America, Robbie.
It was fun though. I enjoyed it.
I would have had a good time.
I drove my dad's 62 Pontiac Tempest Le Mans. Greatest car I've ever driven. It was so good.
Was it? Why is it so good?
Because
This is not an almost new car review.
this is a
No,
very
it-
old car review. But it drove so straight and it was decently quiet and it was just a car. You know, it wasn't anything. There were no frills. No, nothing. It was just.
That's not what he's building it for. Doesn't he want it to be like...
Oh no, this is bone stock right now.
Oh,
It is.
I got you.
It is a 32,000 mile original mile bone stock car
I would not...
through and through.
I never would have pegged your dad for that type of car. I would expect
He
it to
didn't
be like
build it. That he just
drag.
bought. He just
That's the
bought
one he just
it.
bought? Okay.
Yeah, he just bought it.
Okay.
It's old enough that it doesn't have any seatbelts in it at all.
Ooh.
So my dad and we pulled the back seat out and added seatbelts so that we could strap Logan's car seat in.
Probably a good idea.
I was talking to Katie about it afterwards. I was like, can you imagine 1962? You and me and Logan are driving from Ames to Sioux City to go see my parents, and he is not strapped down, just doing whatever the hell he wants. Like, you got
This
to
is
hold
only-
on to him.
This is only just over 50 years ago. You just threw the baby in
our
the back.
parents, my parents at least, were born at the point that this car was made.
Yes.
You just literally threw the baby in the back.
Dad said that, at my son's age, he would have been standing in the front with his
Holding the
hands on the
steering wheel.
dash, just looking out the windshield, leaning forward.
The metal dash.
Right.
Yeah.
With no airbags.
airbags.
With no airbags, of course.
Classic.
Yeah, if you hit something, you better hit it hard.
Yeah, you don't want to feel
No,
any.
yeah, you just want it out.
Over.
You don't want to walk away from that accident.
But I just thought that car was awesome. It was fun to drive. So I drove a Le Mans on the 24-hour Le Mans.
It's pronounced limo.
Le Mans.
Lemons.
I really hope your dad's listening because that really pissed him off last year at Gridlife. I look at that limo.
Lemo.
Is that it for your opener?
I Everybody needs to calm down about this rat
The
rod
rat
thing.
rod thing.
I'm tired of it.
You need to calm down about
No,
the
it's-
rat
You
rod.
need to
It's-
calm
it's-
down, Robbie.
It's
I'm
dumb.
all for
You
it.
need to take it down.
To
now.
each,
time
to each
to-
their own.
To a certain extent,
Nope,
yes,
nope.
I agree with that.
Who
but
made
this
you?
is
who
too
made
far.
you the ruler
too far,
of
Robbie.
rat rods? He can do whatever he wants.
Robbie's very equal
I feel like
opportunity today.
not
for
that
some
I'm
reason.
normally like the public safety spokesperson, but I feel like that is taking it too far.
Now they drive those Terragators. That's probably safer than a Terragator.
I don't think it is.
I think it is.
How would it be safer?
Because the Terragators are quite tall. You can't see jack shit.
Whatever you can see over everybody.
As you're running them over like a monster truck.
If you didn't see that car coming 3 miles away, then you're not paying attention.
I would argue that big ass tire in the front. There's a possibility you could run over somebody's kid because
That
you can't see
has
him.
to block his view. It's got to be dangerous.
Yeah, so it is dangerous, and it's probably not licensed, and it's probably not insured. So
It has to be licensed.
I don't think
It's
it
a piece
is.
of farm
It's a
equipment.
farm equipment. It's a Terragator.
it may have a license plate on the front. It may.
I would be shocked if it's registered and licensed in the state of Iowa as a street vehicle.
Unless he
I would
took
be- I
unless
would
he
be-
took the VIN number off the truck, which I don't know why he would have, and registered it as the truck or as a kit car. But I don't know why he would have gone through all that work.
There's no way he registered as a kit car. Maybe it's registered as that truck.
That's true because you'd have to go through a safety inspection, which he would fail. Does he have
For
turn signals?
sure. I don't know.
Well, you don't need turn signals. Does he have brake
I'm-
lights?
I
Surely
think
he has
you
brake
need
lights.
turn signals.
No, you don't.
I don't think so. You definitely don't on a bike.
No. On a bike, you either can't have them or they have to work. Is what I understand.
Oh,
is the
you're right.
rule.
Maybe in a car you do need to have them then if it's a kit car.
I'm
I know when I went through the process with a friend of mine who had a fiberglass like 32 Ford or whatever.
Yeah.
It had to
A
have
fake one. Yeah.
turn signals, headlights, tail lights, brake lights, a working odometer, a working horn, and windshield wipers.
When's the last time the horn worked in the 240?
What horn?
Yeah, exactly.
What airbags?
Right. Exactly.
Horn works in the Omni. Just saying.
Does it?
Yeah.
Damn.
Aftermarket steering
I'm the
wheel
one
and
that
all.
I'm the one that has all the
Beep, beep.
vehicles that don't have horns in them.
I don't have any horns. Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm shocked he went through all the trouble to make it work with an aftermarket steering wheel, but it does.
I can kind of understand it if you're going to drive it on the street. Maybe it's just because I like honking at people, but I don't know. Not friends.
There's been
Enemies.
times I wish I had it.
Right.
Then I just rev at them instead.
Word.
I don't know that conveys the same. You're a dumbass.
No, it doesn't. Especially now that my exhaust isn't as loud as I think it should be.
Right.
It
Exactly.
needs to be louder.
Glad we're on the same page with this.
Sawzall fixed all those problems, Robbie.
I don't have a welder. I'll have to go to his house. And
No,
use his welder.
that wasn't suggesting that we weld.
I don't want-
anything.
no, I don't
was
want to-
He's just
suggesting
gonna
that
cut
we
it
cut
off.
things off
Just has to be behind the driver.
I don't want to do that.
for SCCA rules.
Straight pipe.
I want it to be that loud.
He's like, is it Goldilocks? Yeah, it is Goldilocks. He's
Yeah,
Goldilocks.
I want.
Yeah, he is.
I know exactly what I want, and I'm not getting it. So I'm gonna.
If you put a turbo on it, it'll be a little quieter.
That's a good point. Then we could straight pipe it.
Yeah.
Actually, we could hater pipe or go out the side with it.
I like how the guys with aren't running vehicles telling the guy with the running vehicle
I
how
have
to
a
run.
perfect- Pretty good running race car.
I'm pretty sure all of last year and this year I had a running vehicle.
He's still,
But I wasn't shit talking
the
to you.
Fiat runs.
It does, doesn't it?
Then
Yep.
the Omni runs perfectly.
Okay, fine.
Flawlessly.
Okay, let's do your.
It's the S10 that is having an issue.
Yeah, I was gonna say you were gonna talk about that.
Yeah, I have a slight project update. I haven't figured out what happened, but this morning I went out to my truck to go to work, and there's a giant puddle of antifreeze underneath my truck. Pop the hood, and both the reserve and the radiator are bone dry.
Oh shit!
I don't know what happened. It just decided to puke all of the coolant out of the bottom of the truck last night while it was parked in my driveway.
Did you fix it?
Hose, perhaps?
I haven't had
Not in
time.
different area codes,
like-
but rubber ones.
That's what I'm hoping, is that it was as simple as like some rubber hose
Just
somewhere
blew
that
off
just
for
blew
some reason.
off.
Or had rubbed a hole in it, probably,
It's
realistically.
probably one of the coolant feeds for the turbo, frankly.
Oh,
Yeah, that makes sense.
it's possible
I've
that
had
could
I've
have
had that
rubbed
happen.
through as well.
I feel like that's the most likely culprit because it's not factory.
That's fair. You'd be surprised. How am I going to say it? Hoses rubbing together. You'd be surprised.
Careful.
Yeah, exactly.
Phrasing?
No, there's no phrasing there. I got through it. You'd be surprised. Hoses rubbing together. How they can wear
gotta pay extra
they can
for
wear
that.
through each other. This is a serious technical moment in this show.
No.
Why do you have to do that to
Not
me?
gonna happen.
Yeah.
That can wear through
Yeah.
and cause.
I can't remember how. I was trying to remember when I was at work this morning. Like, is it just oil cooled, or was it plumbed into the coolant lines too? If it is, I can't remember how. it gets coolant fed to it.
You should be able to figure it out just by looking at it, though.
Yeah, I was just gonna.
I think it's
I was just gonna put a hose in the radiator and find where it's coming out, and then fix that.
There you go. It's a quick way to do it.
Figured, who cares if I pour a bunch of water on the driveway?
Or,
Nobody.
yeah, also what you could do if you're feeling really ambitious and you don't see a leak for some reason, you could fill it partially with water and then plug it with a compressed air line of some kind and then try to blow it through and see where it flies out of.
Well, I'm assuming it's not in the thermostat because the tank and the radiator are all empty. So it's post thermostat at least.
Fair. It's low down on the engine somewhere. Did you see this?
Yeah, it's
Did
awesome.
you see this one?
I did. I showed that
This
to my
is
parents.
Eyes Up Auto Art. This is the 55 Chevy that he did, and it's in drag spec. It's maybe a gasser.
Doing a little bit of wheelie action
Yeah,
there.
it's fucking sick, dude.
It's super cool.
This one was really, really good.
I showed that
and then
to
he
my
had
parents
his,
even.
This we talked about this one already, but the Golf GT, that was really good too.
I love all things golf. So
hammering
I have
out
a
some
weakness for golf things.
really, really good ones. So if you want one of your own, hit him up. Eyes Up Auto Art, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's EYES Up Auto Art. He's working on something else too.
What's he working on?
Oh no, wait, he was just doodling on a post-it. Never mind, but that's still cool though.
It's probably still better than I could ever dream of
Oh
doing.
my god,
He's
yeah,
just
it's
doodling
terrible.
mindlessly, and I couldn't do that if I focused on it.
Hit him up. Prices are reasonable if you want a photo of your car or maybe a gift for someone else. They are super sick. And these last, I don't know if he did these last. Well, this one was for charity, the GT, but I don't know if he did this 55 for somebody, but I'm going to be honest, I'm jealous
I'm sure he did.
because it's really cool. So anyway, hit him up. EYES Up Auto Art. Get your own sick painting of your car today.
Probably going to get something from him at some point. I just got to find the right picture.
Yeah,
I
that's
sent him
fair.
one,
That's
and
the
it was
hardest part
too
is
much.
deciding.
Too much
Too
going
much
on.
stuff going on, and I was pretty sure that was the case. I was like, just tell me, like, be honest. Is this too much of a picture? Yeah, that's a little too much. Okay, I'm gonna find something. Just give me time.
That's fair. Shall we move on to something else?
Yes.
You want to talk about Le Mans?
Lemon.
No, I think
Le Mans.
that's lemon. Le Mans. Let's talk
Le
about Le
Mans.
Mans.
It was quite a race this year.
It was.
I think this was the first race since I have been paying attention that a non-LMP1 car was podium.
This is the first time ever an LMP2 car led a race, and this is also the first time an LMP2 car podiumed. Not
Right.
to mention the fact they did second, third, and fourth.
Although third got
DQ'd. So,
Was that the Toyota car that got DQ'd?
no. It was
it was a Rebellion Racing
Oh, that's
LMP2
right.
car.
You're right.
Because they cut a hole in the body panels, so they could hit the starter motor with a hammer. Because you have to kill the motor when it's in pit, and they couldn't get it to start, so they were hitting it with a hammer, which makes me really, really happy.
Maybe you just let him have third.
Because
You know what I mean?
Because
they legitimately cheated.
they covered it up with duct tape to try and hide it.
Oh, they did cover it up.
Yeah,
I
so
thought they
they-
just cut the hole and ran with it.
No,
with
they
the
tried
hole
to
in
cover it up
Oh,
post.
Yeah.
They knew they were having starter problems, so they cut a hole in their bodywork so they didn't have to take it off. So every time they would stop, they could get to it real easy.
Yeah.
It was an advantage.
What if instead, how far away is the starter from the bodywork? What if you just take a 2x4 and just dent the bodywork till you hit the starter?
I can't answer that.
See?
I think it's
See, that's
probably
why I
not-
should-
These are the hot rod things that they just
it's
aren't quite
bro,
there yet.
Bro, you're thinking about this too
There is no-
engineeringly. Just
There's
take
no
the thing
way
off,
the
just hit it.
material that car is made out of, likely carbon fiber, would bend. It would just shatter.
I feel like then I could, if it broke, that wasn't on purpose.
Could you
If
lightly
if you cut it out,
Which they did.
that's one thing. But if I broke it,
could you lightly crash into something to break it
it's
and
just
then
a happy coincidence that my
Oh,
starter
man, look at
motor,
this.
which isn't
Nice bar.
working, is behind
Is-
that crash damage.
Is Lamar just like every other like NASCAR and stuff where if you break a body panel, you have to
I can't
replace what
answer
you
that.
can?
I've never read through the Lamar rule book.
Anyways,
It's never been a
I'm not-
concern of mine.
I'm
They-
sure it's
they
not
deserve-
something you would want to do in your free time anyway. It's probably like 8 million
If
pages
the
long.
SCCA book is 800 pages long, I can only imagine what the Lamar.
Lamar book is.
I feel like if they wouldn't have covered it up, I would have let them have it.
No, it's cheating.
I don't.
It's it's
I feel like that's-
legitimate, and it's an advantage to them that no one else has because they.
But
they-
everybody
they
else
air-
has a working starter.
Exactly.
Which is more of an advantage than a broken starter.
Show up with good parts. It's your fault that your car failed.
I wouldn't say that necessarily. I'm sure I'm sure it was known good at the time. Those things are just very...
Again, you're giving them an advantage. That's
Do
cheating.
you take the blame for your starter motor failing when you're at the world's largest truck stop in the middle of Iowa?
Yes, it's my starter.
But maybe you should have replaced that starter before you took that trip.
I'm also not racing a 24-hour race.
Well, I feel like that's...
They cheated. They got disqualified.
Yeah, I understand
It's in the rule book, plain and simple. I don't understand why we're arguing about this.
I just think it's funny that they tried to cover it up at post.
Yeah, I guess it's definitely cheating. I was like, the tenacity of it is kind of funny, but then when they try to cover it with duct tape, that's too funny.
Yeah, I feel like if they would have just left it, it would have been less of a deal.
Yeah, they obviously knew they were doing something wrong.
Yeah, but maybe just like own it.
Yeah,
and then
just
maybe
own the
it's
hole.
less of a deal.
Right. Just own the hole.
Right.
Although maybe they would have gotten like black flag, like what the hell is that hole in the side of your car?
I don't know if they covered it up like immediately or if they tried to cover it up post race before it
sounds
went
like it
through
was post race because every time they would come into the pits, they could just stick their hands or whatever inside the bodywork, get to the starter, and then get back on the track.
I think that the hole might have actually been covered up by bodywork, but you lifted the clamshell
To get to it.
to get to the hole to get to the starter.
Okay. So you would need that covered up post race, but not during the race.
Right. I could be completely wrong on that, but I think that was the case, given my skimming of the article.
The offense relates to a hole that had been fashioned by the competitor in the right-hand side of the engine cover. So they
Engine
that was
cover, yeah.
probably on the clamshell,
Yep.
on the outside of the
Yep,
clamshell.
so they legitimately just fashioned a hole.
So I wonder if they would have just opened the clamshell if they could have hit the starter motor at that point.
Yes, probably.
So then, yeah, okay, then I'm with Robbie on this one. If that's the case,
Yeah, it's so they don't have to open up their bodywork to get to
Right.
under their engine cover. And also, I said this earlier. I didn't get to the first place was LMP1.
Porsche.
Yep, and then it was LMP2 all the way through 7th place.
So second
It's a
place,
lot of places.
Second place was a team owned by Jackie Chan. That Jackie Chan made me super happy.
And 3rd place is Jackie Chan's team.
Now
So this is what he's been doing instead of movies. Haven't we talked about what's Jackie Chan been doing instead of movies?
I don't
Yeah,
know
all
what
the
we-
time, yeah.
I know
I'm
we
pretty
talked
sure
about
on
Jackie
this show
Chan
we talked
once.
about Jackie Chan once, and we're like, what is he not doing?
Turns
Or
out
why
he's
is he not doing this?
doing race car.
He's
things,
doing race car
which
things.
is super awesome.
Since 2015.
Fucking weird.
I
man.
Google. Well, I have the live timing app on my phone for the Lamar race. So I'm watching it and I see second place, and it has like the name of the team, which is Jackie Chan DC, and I was like, that Jackie Chan. So I Googled it. Like, is this coincidental or is it that Jackie Chan? It really was. I was super pumped.
I
about
thought
it.
when you put it on the message thread that you wanted to talk about this because Jackie Chan was in it, that you were just fucking with us.
No,
I mean, I think you're like, I knew you said yes, Jackie Chan, but I thought it was still a different Jackie Chan.
no, it's that Jackie Chan.
Okay. I'm pleasantly surprised then.
I love it. It
It's
makes me super
pretty
happy.
fucking awesome, actually. What's Chris Tucker doing now? Nothing. Jackie Chan, he's got a race team.
Drugs, probably. I don't know.
Still,
Yeah. I mean, why would he stop?
nobody can be that hyped up and not be on something, right?
That's fair.
Yeah.
So anyway, was that it for placement? You want to talk
Yeah,
about placement?
I just-
kind of crazy.
Toyota didn't make it.
Had a rough
After
go of it.
crushing the record in qualifying, they broke the record by 2 seconds. That's insane.
Did you read that article? That was one
Yeah.
of the things I wanted to talk
I read
about.
articles.
Did you notice that the record that they broke was the overall track record pre-chicane
Yeah, so it had 4 less turns.
in
Or 4 more turns now than it did
4
at
more
the last
turns
record.
now, slow speed turns, and instead of having those turns, it was just like a 2-mile long straightaway.
Yeah.
The average speed that they did was in the 150 mile an hour range. I don't remember what the exact number was, but it was like I want to say 152 and change.
That's insane.
Is the average speed of that lap.
So fast.
It's
The
crazy.
total lap record was 3 minutes, 14 seconds, and .791.
And they did that.
Fast.
I can't even get my head around it. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
I was gonna try and get some time to sit down in my simulator and get in an LMP1 car and get on that track and just see.
How far?
Like I'm
close
sure,
you can get
like I'm
to
sure
it.
I'd be like a 5'10" or something like that. But I just wanted to know, but I was gonna do it because most of the games that have that track, they'll have with and without chicane. So I was gonna do it without chicane and see if I could even get close to the 314.
30 seconds. Come on. It's 30 seconds.
And we didn't hear from Adam for a week.
Yeah. Simulator with my son is not a thing.
Nope.
So,
Yeah.
and he's there a lot
And
because
you're
he's
in
not
this
old
thing
enough
and
to
you're
have a social life.
spinning this thing and you're pushing stuff. It's making noises. Yeah.
The steering wheel's sitting
You say
in my
he's
living
not
room.
old enough to have a social
He's not old
life.
enough to have a social life, so he's always home when I'm home.
How
It's really annoying.
How have you not?
selfish
How have you
of
not
him.
gotten him an Instagram?
No.
Literally, no,
He'll be
Robbie.
more popular than us in a day. It's not fair.
Yeah, but you know what'd be really funny though is to actually give your kid like your phone and let him take his pictures for his Instagram.
I have a picture of his first selfie.
Yeah, because it all
It's
all
like
be
the
fucked
top
up
2
blurry
inches
stuff.
of his forehead.
Right, exactly. It'd be the best.
That's it.
Dude, this is where we're gonna get
I have
famous.
his first
this has
selfie.
nothing to do with
Anything that
cars,
we're doing, yeah.
but this is how we're gonna get famous. Is we're gonna have a 1-year-old with an actual. He runs his Instagram. Let him type his description. Let them do the whole thing.
Every
No
once in a while,
hashtags, nothing.
every once in a while, I get a bunch of like random letters on the phone, like from a text message from Katie, and be like, "Oh, hi, Logan."
Yeah, exactly. Just post that. Anyway, anything else on that? Toyota, where did they end up finishing?
DNF.
They didn't.
Not at all.
Like all
I
their
think
cars.
all
broke.
their cars. So did you? This came out after I had posted those articles. But did you guys see the reason that the number 7 Toyota, which was the number 1 car, dropped out? Did you guys see this?
All I'm picturing now is the one that blew out his tire. What's the other one?
That was not
that was
one.
like number 9 or whatever.
Yeah, number 8 or 9.
Yep,
So
number
the
9
number
had a
7
puncture.
car, the failure came from there was when the guy who set the lap record was in pit.
Oh yeah.
There was another person from another team who was apparently wearing a jumpsuit that looked very similar to a Marshall jumpsuit.
Yep.
Gave him a thumbs up. You guys are doing awesome. This is amazing to even
respect between
see.
two
Yeah, give him a
drivers.
thumbs up. And the driver mistook that as a Marshall saying you're good to go and left. And then his team is on the radio. No, you're not ready. You can't go yet, blah, blah, blah. And apparently he left and stopped and left and stopped repeatedly with the motor running, which that car and the clutch
Yeah, burned
cannot
up
handle.
burned up
and
his
he
clutch.
burned up the clutch.
Because you can see in the video, like in the lap when he goes out, it gets. I wonder if I don't have it, but like, he goes, all of a sudden you hear "Vroom, vroom," and he's not moving at all. You can just like
Cars
you
are
can hear it
designed
slipping.
to leave pit lane on electric power, and once they're moving, the motor fires in and engages. And he started and stopped repeatedly with the motor running and burned the clutch out.
That sucks a lot.
And the thing that upsets me the most about the whole situation is that the FIA is fining the guy who gave him the thumbs up.
Which is ridiculous.
So apparently you are not allowed to encourage and congratulate other teams mid-race. They had some like unnecessary gesture law or rule.
Again, I don't
that
want to
he
read that.
violated.
I don't want to read that rule book.
No.
And he is being fined for giving another driver a thumbs up. And that what they're saying is that his jumpsuit looked too much like a Marshall. I feel like that's an oversight in the rule book. Like how hard.
Yeah.
Isn't that FIA's problem?
that? Yeah, that should be a different, like
Yeah.
a totally different color or something.
I just can't get over the fact that they're fining the guy. I never saw a number, but even if it's $5, it's
Too
absurd.
much. Yeah, it should be written as the stewards and the marshals get color whatever, and then everyone else has to pick other colors.
Yeah, they should
Seems
be
pretty straightforward.
I guess they're fluorescent orange, very similar to my shirt right now that you can't see, but the construction fluorescent orange, and then I think they have black on them, like stripes or
Right.
something. So just make it the rule that no pit crew jumpsuit can have fluorescent orange in it. Boom. Moving on.
Problem solved.
Yeah, that's not fair.
But why are they fining him? And
Yeah.
my other thing is like, okay, he caused some confusion, but the driver is the one who started and stopped the vehicle under its motor power. and
What?
not its electric power.
Well, I think that's probably why Toyota's not like blaming the guy, the other driver. They're like, well, we screwed up.
I mean, I understand, like, that guy's probably exhausted. It's a very high-stress situation. He was confused and probably forgot the fact that he needed to shut the motor off and start it in electric. I get that. It was a really bad situation, and frankly, absolutely sucked because they probably would have won the race.
Oh, yeah.
Given the, any other circumstance. But do they really need to find the dude who's just trying to be a good person in a...
They just picked somebody to blame, and they're like, well, it's your fault.
You, guy with the thumb.
Hey, you were having fun. How fucking dare you?
How dare
Do
you
not be
encourage
supportive.
other competitors?
Yep.
How dare you?
This is a somber situation.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Way to ruin motorsports.
It's really upsetting.
Yep. Well, Aston Martin won the GTE class.
They did.
Which is
and
kinda cool.
that last lap was a hell of a last lap.
Yes, it was.
They were fighting.
Legitimate racing.
Yeah, which is still like...
That's crazy.
I know we've talked about this every time we've talked about endurance racing, but it's crazy that they'll come down to the last lap and they'll be changing for first and second position multiple times in the last lap after 24 hours of racing.
Yeah, let's see, GTE class, the top finishers, let's see, 17th through 17th, 18th, and 19th all finished on lap 340.
Huh.
So they all were legitimately
first, second, third in class.
Yep, all racing at the last lap for the win.
Interesting.
The Porsche that won was down like 20-some laps at one point from the LMP2 car that got second and managed to close that gap and pass him in the last bit of the race. Because they were in garage extended periods of time for damage as well.
Yeah, I
don't know what specifically, but the fact that those cars, like, that's the number 1 and number 2 class, and so obviously number 1 class should be faster. But the fact that they can make up what I think was like 24 laps in any amount of time is crazy to me.
Yeah. Agreed.
The speed
differential. It's a lot of laps, yeah.
Can you imagine the closing speeds that those LMP1 cars have on normal cars?
No.
At 2 o'clock in the morning?
We're still talking about race cars here. We're not talking about street cars.
No. It's crazy.
Is that it, Robbie?
I think so.
that's all I've got.
That's all I got on my mans.
As always, it's a lot of fun. And I didn't really get to watch very much of it this year. I was only able to follow it through the live timing app, but it was still...
I watched a lot of YouTube recaps.
That was what I had to do, too, because I was just not home.
No.
It was very inconsiderate of them to put it on such a busy weekend for me.
They should really
It's a fair point.
They should take your life into consideration.
I'm
They
an
should.
important member of the media, I feel.
Yeah, we didn't even get invited, which is bullshit.
There's always
We report on it every year.
It's true.
Every year that we've been doing this, we've reported. We've had
on
a segment about it.
Right. We devoted a huge amount of time to promoting their stupid race in France.
And all the stupid things that they do, in our opinion.
Yeah.
Like
and their,
finding guys
and
for
their
thumbs
rule
ups.
books. No invite. I'm sure it will continue to be that way.
Well, if we get invited next year, I'll learn the rule book so we can have...
Right. Robbie will read the whole rule book.
It'll be an episode.
We'll get flashcards.
I'll read it out loud for an episode, and that'll be a bonus.
56 hours long.
3 downloads.
Bonus episode.
They probably get a couple clicks.
Nah, people that come in the middle, they pick like
there's
hour 24.
There's no way he's reading this. And
Yeah, he's still reading.
He's still reading.
Is this the same day?
Who's he even doing this for?
This is weird. People listening to this?
No, of course not. Guy's a fucking weirdo.
That YouTube video would be awesome, though.
Oh, Robbie and Wonder.
Page by page.
Pictures to go with it, illustrations of each car to go with it.
That'd be the
awesome.
longest video to edit if you wanted to add photos.
I would have to just do like a GoPro on my forehead and just watch me flip pages. Someone could read along with me if they wanted to.
The problem is that you can't like go take a piss or
You could pause it, I suppose.
Do anything else.
It'll be the longest YouTube live stream ever.
It might be longer than the race. If I read the FIA rule book, it'd be longer than the 24-hour stream.
Yeah, probably.
Should we do the news?
Let's do some more news.
Other news?
Yeah, we've been doing news all
More other news.
Yeah, whatever. So Singer is introducing a stupidly expensive watch to go with their stupidly expensive 911.
I think when Singer does it, stupidly expensive is just assumed.
Yeah.
Probably worth it, but still stupid expensive.
Who picked this article?
I don't remember who picked this.
It wasn't. I assume
Are you actually asking the question?
No, between you two, who picked it?
Oh, I didn't pick
I
the
picked it
watch
for sure,
article.
yeah.
Are you kidding me? I didn't even see the watch news.
I figured you would pick it and then tell him how stupid.
Yeah,
watches
actually,
are for
that's
being
why I picked
expensive.
it. That's why I picked it, because this is a this one is $41,000. So I figured he would see that and go, "This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard
This
of."
watch,
Knowing what I've learned about watches, admittedly purely through the Smoking Tire podcast, that's really not that expensive.
in the world of luxury
apparently.
watches, it's pretty
No,
crazy.
it's actually oddly not that expensive.
But is it worth it?
It sounds like it.
Because
think-
there are some like $100,000 watches out there that $10,000 watches are better than.
Oh, I would much rather
So-
have this. So this is it's called the Singer Track 1.
Who makes it?
There's a guy, watchmaker Jean-Marc
No, it's Marco.
Wiedernacht.
What?
That's the watchmaker.
Okay.
Is he Swiss?
He's a guy.
British?
No, Wiedernacht sounds German, but his name is
Does sound
Jean-Marc.
German.
What do you have there, Robbie?
Yeah. I just said it's a 1960s era racing chronograph.
So the watch is Singer branded.
Yeah,
So it's not like
Singer
a
branded,
it's
right.
not like a joint thing with
So the
Rolex
the thing
or
about the thing about watches though is that typically nobody makes their movement.
right. No, I've learned that.
Yeah.
Again,
So-
through the Smoking Tire.
Right. So even on a $41,000 watch, this movement, it's an Augengrafe or Augengraph, something like that. It's a different type of chronograph than normal, which I'm not wearing my chronograph. Are you wearing yours, Robbie?
I got my cheap one because I'm at work.
Let me look at it.
It's
Does
just
it
a
got-
fossil. It's not a
Oh no,
chronograph.
it's got it's got the timers for lap timing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's usually got like two. It can have anywhere from 1 to 3 subdials.
Is that where this one?
Yep, that one.
Okay.
So it counts, basically it cumulatively counts time. So you get split seconds. So,
And
around the outside of the dial.
That's
and
the
then,
time.
that's
the chronograph part.
like if so back in the day before digital timekeeping, you would actually time using a watch.
So you have a watch that has a stopwatch built into it.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
And it will cumulatively collect time. So you've got the outside. There's usually like they take the second hand and they make that's your 60-second timer. So you start your watch and it goes around 60 seconds, and then there'll be a subdial that'll
Clicks up to
collect
1.
right, and then it'll go 1.
Right.
And then there might be another one. Maybe that only goes to 15 or 30 minutes, and then there'll be another one that'll count. Half hours, or it'll count hours or whatever. So it'll so you could do the 24 hours of Le Mans with a watch. You know what I mean? Because you could cumulatively see the time. This would have been back in the 50s, let's say.
So that's
or
probably
60s.
what they did to like see how long my stint has been or something like that.
Yeah. So you could
You
time
hit
it
that,
way.
hit the gas, and then
Yep.
you can keep track of how long you've been on track.
Right.
Okay.
But this one's weird because you don't have those subdials. Your time is around the outside. So this is what the time is in this picture is 10:10. So it's 10:10.
Okay.
And then
That's
this counts.
oddly convenient, isn't it?
Yep, and then yeah, look at that. And then this right here, this on the inside of the dial, this is your cumulative time collection. So it's a really weird movement.
That is a
basically.
cool looking watch, though.
It's very
Yeah, it's pretty
vintage
great.
race style.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
very cool looking. I like it.
It's kind of a 60s, 70s oblong shaped casing, and it's got a movement that I think the only other watch that uses it is made by Fabergé, which may sound familiar.
No.
Eggs, Fabergé egg. Heard that?
No, I don't know. That's the slightest clue. But so is this a watch that I can buy, or is this a watch that comes with my Porsche?
It's a watch you can buy.
Okay.
You probably need to know somebody.
Well, yeah, I'm
So
sure.
what did your article say? Who did your article say was the designer?
Well, the designer is Marco
I can't even.
Baracchino.
Yep.
There's a designer, a watchmaker, there's Singer, there's the movement manufacturer. There's all
What
these
does
people.
Singer have to do with this? Are they just the marketer?
They
So yeah, so
commissioned it.
yeah, so
They're
yeah.
just they're just the person selling. it.
Yeah, they probably had creative input, but yeah.
Well, actually, it's a whole different company now. Singer now is 2 companies.
It is?
Yeah, there's a company like Singer Automotive, whatever, makes
Yep.
their Porsches, and now there's oh god damn it, like Singer Vehicle Design does
Yep.
their cars.
Okay.
And now I totally lost it. There's a Singer watch company now.
Okay.
That's going to make this watch.
So that's under a different deal.
Yeah, so the designer got together with your watchmaker, who got together with Singer, and Singer's like, yeah, I'll back that. So it's Singer's name and money with his watchmaker's design, or watch designer and maker's
and
collaboration.
the movement and the deal and mix it all together. It's very weird. You could go out and you could go to a shop and buy a watch for $1,000 that has the same movement that the $3,000 to $5,000 watch has.
Yeah, I've learned that.
So it gets weird.
I can see where I'm still not running out and buying them,
Yeah.
but I can see where your watch collecting comes from. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
They're like very small cars.
Yeah.
Because for the same reason that you like cars, weird cars, you can find watches that tick those same boxes.
Correct.
And they're a lot easier to store,
Yes.
but not really any cheaper.
No. And they still need serviced, which sucks.
And you can't do that.
And I can't do that. You could learn how to. The thing would be to like get some cheaper Seikos,
Yeah.
and then break those
Yeah.
where there's lots of parts for them and they're cheaper, and you could
When you
figure it out.
when you say Seiko, the only thing I can think of is calculator watch.
Dude, people collect those now. That's the thing.
Yep.
Should have kept
Baller.
yours.
Sweet.
I don't know what they're
watches.
worth. $100, $200, but it's a thing.
I get
Calculator
it.
watch.
If I was collecting watches, that would be on towards the top of my gotta have list.
It's all the watch stuff.
Just because it's so funny.
My Instagram again is tattoo models, watches,
And
and
cars.
cars.
Right.
And I'll be flipping through and Seiko calculator or whatever digital.
Perfectly reasonable. I
Watch.
want one.
Yep.
I think they're cool.
I'm wearing this today. I wore my Rolex GMT yesterday. I'm wearing my Casio calculator today.
So it's called Singer Reimagined, is what they're calling it.
Reimagined.
Which I didn't like. I was scrolling through this and I was like, "That's not right."
That's kind
But
of a
apparently,
lame name.
Singer Reimagined will technically be a separate entity from Singer Vehicle Design, and the goal is for the Track One to be a thing or the first of things to come.
Is this on their website or what is
This is on a blog to watch,
Ooh.
which is a watch blog website.
that it is?
So
That's
I think it's a gorgeous watch, but I don't have $40,000 for a watch.
So, is there a watch podcast?
there is
which-
Worn and
which
Wound
one?
has one, and I was going to listen to it.
When are we going to start ours?
When we learn about watches more than just listening to him tell us about watches.
And we have more time to
Dude,
devote to a second
they explain
podcast.
stuff about like they'll talk about it's got silicone, mainspring or whatever. I'm like, I'm lost. You already lost me.
See, I feel
I
like we
respect
could be the 1010s podcast of watch podcasts.
We could be really mediocre.
We're not really like informative. You don't really learn that much from us,
No.
but it's still fun to listen to.
I suppose.
We're probably wrong half the time.
Dude,
That's
I
fine.
I can guarantee you there's no watch podcasts that have said in quotes, "This watch is dope." We could be that. We could be that podcast.
they don't
This-
talk about
this
rubbing
watch is
hoses
dope.
together ever, I bet.
Yeah.
This watch is dope for sure. I think that
Sure.
puts the stamp on that.
It's
50
wet.
pieces.
Hashtag
you got to
wet.
get in there.
There's only 50 of them being made?
Only 50.
Yeah.
Does Trust Fund have his on order?
Nah, man, I don't know. Rob Dickinson. He and
Just-
I aren't close.
Hit him up on Insta.
What up, dude?
I'm sure that's his preferred method.
You have
of-
180,000 followers, and I have 300. Do you want to? Let's collaborate, bro. People do that shit on Instagram. Instagram's a weird fucking place, dude.
I know it is.
Oh, if you get bored, or if you're like desperately bored, you should find like the watch buster people. That's some hilarious nonsense.
Oh, I'm sure.
They go out and find the number of people. For some reason, the word flossing came to my mind. I don't know where that came from, but like the number of people on Instagram pretending to be someone that they're not is
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
With especially fake watches, fake rolls of money,
Or
fake
the-
Louis Vuitton
yeah.
bags. I didn't like. What are you getting out of that?
They're trying to be Dan Bilzerian without actually being able to do it.
My new favorite Instagram account is Cats on Cash, which is just picture after picture of cats laying on like opulent piles of cash and other belongings. It's hilarious.
It's fucking weird, man. I
weird.
guarantee you they have.
It's so funny though.
They have a multiple of 10 more followers than we do.
for
10
sure.
times more. You
yes,
know what I mean?
they do. But
If
it's
we
super
have
funny.
800, they have 8,000. You know what I mean?
It's
just
super
fucking-
funny.
I saw today things that look like things, which is literally just two pictures next to each other. It was like
Pictures
fried.
of clouds that look like dinosaurs.
Yeah, there was fried chicken, and then there were like those brown full-size poodles, and they kind of like, if you get it at the wrong angle, they look similar. They had 61,000 followers.
Hashtag White Person Wednesday.
White Person Wednesday is White People Wednesday is
White
the
People
greatest
Wednesday?
is the greatest thing of all time. Dude's name's Jude Langston, I think.
I think
or
it's
something like
one more Jude.
that. One more Jude is his fucking funniest. Best day of the week is Wednesday now. White People Wednesday, really funny.
Fucking white people.
We're crazy.
It's like Chappelle Show all over again.
Yep. Moving on. So the FIA is considering disciplining Richard Hammond for his crash in the Rimac Concept 1.
Did you say the FIA is going to punish him?
That's what I said.
Sounds
Shocking.
familiar. Did we just talk about this?
Yeah, I think we did.
Oh, no, wait. That was somebody else trying to have
Someone
fun
else
also.
did,
Yeah, no, I get it. So,
All right, I don't know if you got. I realize I'm interrupting the whole podcast for personal shit, but do you guys have Snapchat?
yeah.
No.
I just got 5 messages from Team Snapchat.
5 of them?
5.
That's
Like, why would you send?
Maybe you're an influencer now, Robbie, and
No.
they send you stuff.
It's always
important.
stupid stuff.
It's always like, oh, you know what it is?
Snap map.
What?
I didn't know that. I had
This
Snapchat
is
on
stupid.
my
Why do I even
phone
have
for
this
like
anymore?
10
I should
days.
get rid of social media altogether. Anyways,
Anyway.
so
So they're finding somebody for having fun again, it sounds like.
So how are they? How are they
this is
getting
a
away
twist.
with this?
This is
What-
a twisted thing. Hold on, let me get my computer.
Yeah,
I was gonna
I'm
say.
So
super.
the FIA has oversight over,
all forms of racing in Europe.
and they have
Basically.
oversight over the organization that puts on the Hamburg Gurgen Hill Climb.
that's close enough.
Can you repeat that, please?
Burgernen? Is it Burgernen? I think it's the Hamburg Burger Hill Climb. It's not a hill climb I would go to ever.
You're in the right ballpark, I guess.
Look
at
at
one
how
point-
many N's and E's and R's are in that word. It's BERGRENNEN.
At one point-
N.
At one point, I tried to introduce a segment where Robbie just read the names of Nürburgring corners. But I think now what we should do is Michael reading the names of hill climb courses.
I'll do it if
No,
there's more.
the worst part is it's Hamburg, and then the next word is Berg. So it's Hamburg, Berg,
Burgernen.
Bergrennen.
Bergrennen.
Hamburg, Bergrennen.
So when you see
Rennet.
those golf, like Mark 1 golfs, they say they're Berg Cup golfs.
Okay.
That's what that Bergrennen.
Bergrennen. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what
that's the race that
see.
those cars are built
There you
for.
go. So apparently the FIA has jurisdiction over the organization that runs the Hill Climb Burger Hill Climb, and the FIA is claiming that his crash makes
the
racing in general look bad.
So does finding him,
That's what I said.
Finding it makes it look worse.
It makes you look like a dick.
which we already knew, but that's not the point.
It makes you look like racing's not fun. Because if you do something wrong, they're going to fine you.
That's just it. He's not even racing. They were filming a show, and he just they were just there the same weekend as the race.
Because that's when the course is closed. Because normally most of the time, those are public roads that are closed down for racing. So that's when they can film there.
So they're still investigating like the cause of the accident, and it looks like it's
I watched the video.
the curve after the finish, right?
I don't think so.
That was my understanding.
Oh, I don't. It might be, but it looked to me like just watching the straightaway and the curve, knowing no other parameters on it. He was in a car that almost no mortal man can keep up with, and he way overcooked it.
That's what I
Yeah.
figured happened too. He just, because how many horsepower is this? Like a million billion?
Yeah, I think
it's the first like production hypercar all electric.
But it's like 1,000 horsepower.
it's
at
equivalent to
least.
like 1,300 or 1,400 horse.
Yeah, and it's
and
all,
probably
it's
like
now.
4,000 pound-feet of torque
And
or
it's
something
now.
stupid. Yeah,
it's all
immediately.
now. It's not. There's no
so
turbo
all four
spooling.
wheels, like
Yeah.
just batshit crazy. Just go.
So I figured, shit happens.
Ian Wright
expensive shit
from Both
happened.
Hand Drive. This is like one of his cars. He loves the Rimac Concept One. Thinks it's a cool, and it is.
It
It's
is
an
cool.
awesome car.
It is. Well, it was.
Fair enough.
It's on fire, or was on fire.
No, it's not. It's just gone. Just a
Yeah,
pile.
it just decimated it
It's just carbon fiber and lithium ion now.
into the
Yeah,
earth.
just
See
like
how
a-
it burned into the earth and hurt the trees. Not so environmentally friendly now, is it?
No.
So when you burn carbon, are you reducing or increasing your carbon footprint?
Nah, you for sure got to be
It's
increasing
neutral.
it.
It's neutral.
'Cause
You're releasing it to other parts
Are
of
you
the world.
burning it into the ground or are you releasing
I
it into
see.
the air?
I think when you release it, if it's collectively together, and then you release it, I think that they get
so
upset about
if I
that.
take carbon and I make carbon fiber with it, is that
Yeah.
reducing my carbon footprint?
Let's go with yes.
And then when I burn it and
Wait,
release
you got to take it out of
back-
the air. I think
So-
you got to take it out of the air
Oh, okay.
and put it into something.
Is this like from dust you came to dust you shall return type of thing?
Yeah, except you're not
from
supposed to
carbon I
return it.
came and then I
hey,
returned to carbon.
phrasing.
I bet you did. Can we get back
Robbie's
to
favorite pastime. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. So, anyways,
It sucks. That's
so
all there is
so
to
Richard
it.
Hammond wrecked this $1 million hypercar at the corner after the finish line. So I assume he was just going faster than he expected to be going, and then just overshot it. Like, went through the finish line, was like, all right, we're done here. And then
Didn't get on the brakes early enough.
Well, that's just it. The Rimac is kind of like a Formula One car where at certain speeds, you give it gas to get around a corner. Like, it'll grip and go. So I'm sure that at that
Something happened.
He did the traditional hit the brakes and do what you would try to turn what you would normally do, instead of if he would have just hammered down and gone, he might have been fine. He only had 4 days to learn this car. 4 days you could probably get comfortable with a car, but you wouldn't know
Not
everything.
that car.
No, exactly.
And this was the last run of the day.
Yep.
So, he's just trying to put down his best time.
You know,
So he was hero running it.
yeah.
He's,
Blew
10/10.
Yeah, blew through the finish line and just kept going.
So did they say how much they want to fine him?
I did not see that.
And did they have a name for it? Like, what are they fining? Like, what rule did he violate?
Well, I'm sure there's
that
a rule
allows
that-
them to
The hamburger incident rule
Yeah.
or something.
hamburglar.
Yeah, I don't know.
It feels to me very bureaucratic. Like,
It
we don't
seems to
know
me
what
like
we don't know, but we're definitely gonna. There's
It's like
gonna
one
be
of
a
these stupid lawsuit money grab things.
Yep.
They just see an opportunity to collect $30,000 for some rich guy who doesn't care about the $30,000.
This is
Amazon will probably pay it, and he won't ever see it. And what does he care? And that's probably they're just looking at like, hey, this is
money grab.
yeah.
You know what's interesting about that is that this week, maybe yesterday, FIA said that they're going to have a sanctioned drift event now.
It was on my list of things to talk about next week.
I was going to do it now because we already have a huge list of other things. But the interesting thing is I heard a couple people already say, like I was going through the Speed Hunters comments. They're
All
like,
of this stuff makes me feel like it's not good.
yeah, they're like, they're going to have more sanctions, which, there's a line, there's a limit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's a line of maybe a little more safety wouldn't be terrible, but, like sanctions on, body panel overhang and spoiler height, and it's like it's going to ruin the essence
Horsepower.
of and maybe there could be
Maybe
a little
we don't
limit
need
on
1,000
that.
horsepower cars, but at the same time, it's pro level racing.
It is.
Maybe if you're 2 or 3 tiers down, you limit horsepower. But at the top of racing, it should just be
Do whatever you want.
racing.
Yeah.
Let's do this. If someone's willing to throw the budget at it, let them. Especially in drifting, because it's not who crosses the finish line first competition. So no matter how much money you throw at it, you're not going to overcome driver skill in that scenario.
Yeah. Right. There gets to be a point of rapidly diminishing returns. Like, is 1,500 horsepower going to do you better than 1,000?
I
don't know.
At this point, I feel like anything the FIA is involved in might not be so good. It does add an air of legitimacy to drifting in general, but I'm not convinced that it's also going to be good for the sport at the same time.
I think people like drifting not being legit.
That's why it's cool right now, is because it kind of feels rebellious and ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
Drifting is a lot like rollerblading was to Robbie and I, in the fact that, like, at Gridlife, if you're a decent local drifter, you could have been on track with Turek and Forsberg and Von Gittin Jr. and JTP and all these pro-level drifters. You could have been bumper to bumper with them last weekend.
Yeah, there was a dude that guy in that 350 was getting chased by Von Gittin or Forsberg.
Can you
I was like,
imagine?
dude, you just made that dude's year.
Yeah, because like when Robbie and I were rollerblading, we would go to competitions, and like, they'd let you. Usually, the competitions are multiple days, and like the last day is the competition, and the day or two before that, you're just out there practicing and getting a feel for what tricks you can do on the skate park. Well, guess who's standing right there next to you? The guy that you've been idolizing for the last 10 years on watching videos on the internet.
Yeah.
It's the same, has that same feel in drifting.
That's a good analogy. No, it's spot on. Because you like, even back then, like skateboarding was that way. You wouldn't be skating with the pros. That'd
No.
be completely segregated.
Yeah.
Just like any racing now.
Yeah,
Except
you
drifting.
Some NASCAR drivers will go out and race local
So, yeah,
dirt track
sprint cars, stuff
races.
like that.
So NASCAR and drifting kind of have that same, to some extent. But like, you're never going to catch Lewis Hamilton at an HPDE in his, whatever, That's
No.
never going to happen.
And
You're
even-
never going to go chasing him around in a car.
And even if you did have a team of security guys keeping you away from him.
He'd just rent the track himself. He's not going to bother with you.
Well, speaking of NASCAR, the Hemi returns to NASCAR. I like this. This is cool.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too.
Who would have known that all of your Dodge-powered vehicles had LSs in them?
Anyone that follows NASCAR.
Who would have known?
Everybody.
Essentially LSs.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're based on the LS, from
architecture.
one supplier. It's called a monopoly. Anyways, so after years of just going with the GM based, now that Dodge is back in NASCAR and basically all of their
Stock car racing
in general, they're like, well, we're not going to be winning with a Dodge badge vehicle with an LS in it. Can't be doing that. So they've gone and designed this M1 or Mopar M1 race engine, and that's hopefully going to be completely used in NASCAR moving forward as a spec engine that should be on the same playing field as the GM based ones.
I think this is cool. I think it's a step in the right direction for that racing in general. It's one of the things that we don't like about that type of racing, somewhat alleviated.
Yeah. I think every maker should be able to bring their own engine to us. You know, like you give them a spec and you're like, you build your engine. Here's your list of rules. And they, like, I mean, obviously it's not working out for Honda with F1, but that's the type of racing you should have, I think.
I think they should take it a step further and say, you don't get to race unless you supply your own engine.
I think that's absolutely reasonable to me, because it's not.
Everybody
In
has
the
a
grand
V8.
scheme of things, that motor development program can't be out of control expensive.
No, because you can buy the engine unassembled for $23,000.
Right. Try buying a modern day Formula One Honda motor.
Wait, there was an assembled price of $27,000.
Yeah.
You could get it
$27,000
minus a carburetor.
It's basically a crate engine.
What's an E-Rod cost? Like a full-fledged California 50 state legal E-Rod. Aren't they like $10,000 or something silly?
Maybe a little less.
So,
Looking it up.
I mean, in the realm of racing engines, that seems really reasonable.
7,200.
Like from GM, straight from GM Performance.
Yeah, this is GM. They may have gone
Like
down a
through
little bit
Summit
because
or
the
something like
LT. No, this is straight through GM.
Okay.
They may have gone down a little.
$7,200.
LTs.
Is that a complete motor?
Yeah,
With
but
the
it only makes a little less than 500 horsepower relative. I mean,
But that's
only.
also not
But
a race motor.
It's not a race motor, and it doesn't make what do these NASCAR engines make 800 or 900
8 or
horsepower?
9.
Yeah, something like that.
So it makes half the power, and it's not a race motor. It's just a.
I feel
Smog
like
motor.
$27,000 for an assembled motor seems.
It seems way reasonable.
For
I would
a-
like to see
for a
people
race
putting
motor?
these in
Drift cars.
or whatever.
Anything.
Anything.
Street cars, why not?
Just going out and
Is
buying
it a
them.
push rod motor?
If it's GM based or the LS based, it is.
No, the new one. The
Hemi?
The Hemi.
It's still based off the current Hemi. My
I
understanding.
don't know if
Yes.
is that an overhead cam motor? Or is that
Oh no, it's a push rod motor.
yes. Let's put
Yeah,
that in a
see.
240 then.
Oh, yeah, we could totally do that.
That'd be sweet.
Does that have what? Turn that around again. Oh no, because the Hemis have the valve covers that the spark plugs go through, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's confusing. Makes it look like it's.
Don't some of them have like dual spark plugs or something crazy? I feel like there
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
Hemis
I think
some
so.
did.
that had like 16 spark plugs.
Oh my god, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
No,
For
I'm
sure.
gonna pass on that.
No. This for the last year we've been saying all the stupid rules that NASCAR is making. This might actually be one we agree with.
But it sounds like they're only gonna let them do it in Canada for now, right?
Yeah,
Canada's
Yeah, to
racing.
start
the
with.
lower levels or the lower series.
This
And
was
then-
something that did not get very much news coverage.
You pulled this from the most obscure place in the entire world.
So-
All par.
Allpar is like it's like my dictionary for turbo Dodge things. When people start talking about stuff on forums and Facebook pages, and I don't know what they're talking about, I can go figure out what they're talking about on Allpar, and I get a newsletter from them, and that was the top story in their newsletter.
I'm surprised it didn't get picked up anywhere else.
Didn't-
I
I didn't
realize
see it
it's
get picked-
Canada, but
I didn't see it get picked up any. I mean, I figured Black Flag Jalopnik would have said something about it, right?
yeah, there's only so much midweek race coverage you can do.
That's what I thought, but I didn't.
So we'll post it next week after listening to our
Yeah,
episode.
after listening
Of
to
course,
this.
I mean,
of course, it'll probably come out
Facebook
tomorrow.
likes to hide things from us, so maybe they did post it. I don't know, but I never saw anything else about it.
Boom. Cool stuff.
And
What
we-
else?
We can finish this off with some more racing. Pizzazz is releasing an all-electric 24-hour endurance racer. It's kind of strange.
I want to
It's a little
see this
strange, yeah.
happen just because I want to see how.
It's going to be when you go to a drift event and there's a truck full of just
Bumpers?
tires and bumpers. This is going to be a truck full of batteries because the car is going to be it's going to be set up like an RC car where it's not going to have a lot of moving parts. And then you pull into the pits and this jack pulls this 800-pound or 400-pound battery out of it, and you just slap another one in, and you just go back out there and maybe replace some tires. I don't know.
Nah, bro, it's 1,000 pounds.
Whatever.
Jesus Christ.
What kind of hoist are you going to need to get that out of there and not drop it on somebody?
I don't know. It has a 90 to 110 mile range in race conditions. So that's a lot.
That's
of battery.
far, but not very
That's
far.
a lot of battery changes in endurance.
Wait
race.
a second here. Okay, so I'm trying to remember.
Trying to math?
Well, because I'm trying to think of how long the Le Mans circuit is, the Circuit de la Sarthe.
Well, it takes 3 minutes.
At 150 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think it's
I
close
got a calculator, Robbie, if you want to throw me some numbers. What was the number of laps that you said one of those
I
cars
suppose
did?
we could just...
320.
It's 8.5 miles is the track.
So they can do about 10 laps.
That doesn't seem like enough.
And
I feel like those LMP cars are doing more than that.
they're doing 360 laps in 24 hours.
So that's 36 pit stops.
Seems like a lot.
The 36 battery changes.
Seems like a lot of batteries.
That's not an option.
I don't know, man.
You could have an all-electric LMP1 car and it's going to get beat by the GTE class.
Just because of it could
Because they don't have to stop.
It could have better lap times and still
yeah.
lose.
Absolutely.
Because especially in modern day endurance racing, those races are won and lost in pits.
Yes.
So
I think it's a great idea because what's the fastest way for technology to take off in automotive? Racing.
Well, it used to be.
Well, theoretically, it
I
still
like
could
to believe
be.
that it is still that way.
Could be. Like I don't know. We won't go into.
I like to believe that there is still some level of trickle down,
There has to be.
but I don't know that there is because of the way things are regulated into oblivion anymore.
Well, I mean, like there's a article right now that came out. It's probably next week's news, and I'm jumping into it already. But it's called what's it called? The exhaust header that goes, or the exhaust manifold that goes through the head.
Oh yeah, they're built in. They're one part.
It's all one piece, so that the coolant goes over the exhaust gases coming out, and it cools your exhaust as it leaves, and it's like super efficient and like, it's a performance based idea that's gonna give us better fuel economy, all that shit. So I mean,
I think Volkswagen and Ford both make small displacement motors that the exhaust manifold and the head are one piece already. The turbo bolts straight to the head, essentially.
yes,
That makes sense. I mean, why do you need a separate exhaust manifold?
right.
It's one less gasket to rupture. All that crap.
And they're always in the way of the spark plugs. Mm-hmm. This is my life. Exhaust manifolds in ways of spark
do you
plugs.
want to talk about it?
Nah,
or-
we've talked about it enough. I'm just saying, like, maybe you can integrate that together a little better so that they're not in the way, and I don't ever have to take it off because it's
could do
one
like
piece.
do like Dodge does and just put them in the middle of the valve cover, and then they're right up top, easy to
That's
get.
true.
It's
None of us
easy peasy.
has a V8 Dodge though
Yet.
We should totally swap that Omni.
Front wheel drive V8 swap it.
What if I put?
why not?
What if I put 392 Hemi in the S10?
Yeah, that'd be a great
That'll
swap.
work. Yeah, we're okay with that.
That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That'd for sure be.
That
cool.
would be a V8 swap I would be willing to do if I could fund it.
It'd be fucking terrifying.
Yeah,
You'd have to
that'd
put
be
like
that'd be
500
crazy.
pounds of sand in the back of it.
Be a great drift car.
It would be a great drift car.
Apparently, trucks make terrible drift cars because
That doesn't surprise me.
you'd think that having no weight in the back would be good, but since there's so little weight in the back and so much weight in the front, they push.
It's got to be hard. Like
Trucks
you got
tend
to
to
fishtailing all
understeer
over.
really bad.
I didn't realize understeering was such a problem in drifting, but like everybody at O-Drift last weekend was complaining about understeer. I was like,
Well-
I guess it's a problem.
I guess the thing, most drift cars, professional level drift cars, at least what I have read, is that if you look at the way they set those cars up, they're actually set up to understeer.
Like under
Like the front
grip
end.
condition.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you were time attacking a drift car, you would probably have a hard time keeping the front end in check.
I got you.
It would try to push you to the outside of the corner all the time. So
They also do a weird thing where they adjust the Ackerman Do you know about that?
Yes, I know of the Ackerman angle, but I don't know enough to.
All it is like your wheels don't. When you're at full lock, your wheels don't point the same direction, basically, which is good if you're turning like in a parking lot with a normal car.
Right.
You need to have more angle on the inside wheel than you do on the outside. But on a drift car, that's totally fucking weird because you're going the wrong
Especially at
direction and
80 degrees of steering angle.
right. So it gets all fucky, for a lack of a better term when you're on full lock. The fuckery happens.
That's a technical
it's
term,
full
everybody.
of fuckery.
This
Yeah,
is the
Ackerman.
technical
So you
terms
adjust
come
the
to 10 Tenths
Ackerman to
podcast
take the
for.
fuckery out to get. Which I don't know if that affects. That would probably affect understeer because you'd have more grip than if your wheels are pointing, or full, you'd
Well, I
have.
think like even as far as like spring rates, I can't without looking at sheets that I have printed off for this very reason. I can't remember if you want softer or stiffer in the front to make it understeer more or less. I don't remember what those are, but like those spring rates are set up so that the car in theory should understeer more than oversteer because you've got to take some of that in order to keep the car controllable, in order to maintain grip in the front when you've got none in the back.
So Panos is making an electric LMP1 car.
And they hope that they can get like one of the garages at Lamar is for these type of cars. Like the Delta Wing had it at one point.
Yep.
It's like an experimental car garage, and there's a class that they are allowed to race in. There's always one car, and they're hoping that they can get that spot in the years to come. So we may even see this car actually race.
This is all because they got bought by an electric company, basically.
Isn't it the same one that made that car that set the Nürburgring and Circuit of America lap record?
Oh,
That NIO or whatever?
No, this is Green
That's-
for
yeah.
You.
Yep,
Green
totally,
for you.
totally
There's
different.
something else.
They bought Panos and then they bought Delta Wing, or Panos bought Delta Wing and then they bought Panos.
Delta Wing was owned by Panos.
So now it's all Green for You.
They were going to make a street car, and I was
that's
super pumped about
Green, the number 4, and then the letter U.
Green for You.
Because millennials.
Panaz Racing GT EV.
I don't know.
Nah, I don't either.
They'll figure it's a publicity stunt for them. It's good for their brand because I would never have heard of Green for You.
No.
it. There was somewhere else that I'd seen Green for You cross my radar, but I don't remember what or why.
It's probably some pot smoking convention thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a whole
Were-
different.
were-
Were you in Colorado recently?
I'm deeply entrenched in those.
It was a hashtag that you saw on Instagram when you were looking at
Cats and
Stacks and Cats. What's it called?
Cats on Cash.
Cats on. Oh, we should start Stacks, Cats and Stacks, which is the same concept, but it's just cats next to stacks of money,
Stacks of just things.
or just stacks of things.
stacked chicks.
Because, it might be too many.
It's a stack.
Okay,
I don't know.
I'm with you. No, I'm with you.
That would work. It'd be more
I know.
popular than our stuff.
I know exactly. Social media about cars. There's too many. If you're really
I look at-
specific,
When I'll look at see someone post something or some like random person will like my shit, and then I'll just click on it just to see who they are. And I'm like, how do you have so many followers? Your stuff is dumb. Your stuff is boring.
and 90% of the time they call themselves CEO.
Oh, we should. Are we all CEOs?
I'm changing my Instagram
CEO
thing to
of
say-
1010s
to
Media.
say CEO. Dude, seriously, like look at the completely
I know.
random profiles that click on your. They all say
it's
social
even
media
worse on
businesses.
LinkedIn.
CEO.
3/4 of LinkedIn's are CEOs.
At least like that's kind of traceable. Like you can find their
You can
company.
prove
If it's-
out
right
some-
on Instagram, they're all like, I trade Forex, CEO, stacks on stacks on stacks, fake Rolex. You know what I'm saying?
Cats on cash.
Cats on cash. Yeah, Instagram's weird, man.
Super weird.
Just be forewarned, everybody. If you follow Cats on Cash, that literally 5 minutes after I followed Cats on Cash was when I started getting like bombarded by crazy cat ladies on my Instagram.
Well, that's how you gain followers on Instagram. You follow and unfollow people because people will go like, there's like a thing where they're like, well, if you want to gain followers on Instagram, go follow people like Justin Bieber because people will go to his page and
follow you.
and follow the people that have recently followed him. So like,
Well, I
if
got
he's
like
100 million people following him. You follow him, and then people will click and he's like, oh, he just followed, and then they all look at you first.
I got like
I don't do
15
that.
or 20 crazy cat lady follows in the course of a
See?
day, and
That's why.
they're all gone.
Yep,
Yeah, they're just
that's why. It's a game.
yeah. And I don't play
Cats
it.
on cash,
I just post
everybody.
things and use the same hashtags every day.
See, maybe that's why we don't grill it. You should just try some different hashtags every once in a while.
Or you could pay a computer.
No, we're not
I'm not
going to
doing
do
that either.
See, but
I
that's
don't
what people
care
do,
enough.
though. That's
I
what those
don't- I
people
know.
do.
We've
that
proven that when you pay for that stuff on Facebook, it's of no help to you.
No, it hurts you later.
Well, this is
Well, and those people
Sanctioned.
don't actually do anything.
No, they don't. They don't.
These trashy trailer park mamas that followed our Facebook page, they don't like our stuff.
They're clearly not listening. And if they are,
Hello.
yeah,
Hi.
great, thanks. Anyways,
It's a weird place, social media.
yeah.
Speaking of social media, you can find us.
At 1010's podcast, basically everywhere. If you haven't figured
just
that out.
Google
Just Google
1010's
it.
podcast.
But do go to 1010spodcast.com. Check out the store.
Buy some shirts.
I had a guy at work message me. He go like an email at work. It just said question. I'm like, oh shit.
What I do wrong?
Yeah.
now.
What is your question?
What do I have to legitimately dig into and spend hours trying to find? Because it's he always has obscure questions because
Oh God, he's that guy.
no, he's a business guy, so he asks really in depth how did this nozzle perform in the field 2 years ago based on these? It's like legitimate questions that I can't answer.
Right.
So I see it
because he's trying to sell something.
No, I see this and I go, well, crap. And I click on it. He goes, hey, what's your podcast name? I was like, really?
Sweet.
That's an easy question.
Yeah.
So
I
anyway,
assume
go there.
that
So
half
if he's listening right now, I appreciate that.
I assume half our listeners are coworkers.
I'll take it.
I have at least 3 or 4 that listen.
That's a lot of
every week.
coworkers.
Yeah, I don't work for that big a company.
Fair enough. Find us on social media. Buy a shirt.
Definitely buy a shirt.
Bye.
And then Panaz.
Yeah, I have another FIA
Pizzazz, is that what you said?
finding
Pizzazz?
story.
Pizza Pizzazz.
Pizzazz releases an all
Is it an
electric pizza.
Electric pizza
cooker.
Pizzazz.
Yep.
That would be sweet.
It's pretty exciting
I
stuff.
already have
It's got
a
portable
it's got
electric-
12, it's got 12 volt battery, just like a DeWalt.
Yeah, but the problem is that it dies like halfway through cooking your pizza.
No, it makes
That
it
would
through
be a
one
real
pizza.
problem.
It burns
only
the
have
piss out of it, but then you can't change those settings.